So this part of the article begins by saying most people who participate in StoryCorps use their time to express things that often go unsaid. Kind of really say something that they might not normally say in their daily lives. We've got a few words to look at here. The first one is participate. This is a verb. It's spelled P-A-R-T-I-C-I-P-A-T-E, participate, and it just means to take part in something, to join in something. For example, the teacher told her students that they would all have to participate in the class play. Everyone's got to join in.
And we also had the verb express. This is spelled E-X-P-R-E-S-S. Here, when we're using it as a verb, to express is to communicate what you think, what you feel. When you're talking about what you're angry about or what you're so excited about, you're expressing it. You're not keeping it inside. You're not keeping it away from other people. You're letting it out. You're communicating it. You're telling everyone. You're expressing it. For example, Max expressed his disappointment at not getting the job he had applied for. He didn't just go off and sulk in the corner. He said, I'm really disappointed, and this is why. He expressed himself, which is, of course, a healthy thing to do.
Okay, so let's get into the first example we have. In one interview, 12-year-old Joshua Littman brings up a heavy topic.
Really?
Okay, so he's only 12, but he's got some pretty heavy, important, really kind of deep stuff to say. And he brings this up. To bring something up is to mention something or to introduce a topic into a discussion. For example, during the interview, the employee brought up the subject of a pay raise. Like, I'd like to talk about this, please.
Interesting. And you mentioned it's a heavy subject.
It is.
When we use heavy in this way, we're saying it's important, it's serious. So he's not just like, I like Superman because he's cool.
Yeah.
He's not just saying something like that. He's talking about something pretty serious, especially surprising coming from a 12-year-old. Well, let's look at it. It says Joshua has Asperger's syndrome and asks his mom how having a child with his disorder has affected her.
Wow, so he's asking mom, basically, how do I and my problems, my syndrome, make your life more difficult or different. So
absolutely.
It's kind of a tough thing for them both to talk about.
That's a heavy topic. Asperger's syndrome is a form of autism, spelled A-U-T-I-S-M. Basically, people with Asperger's syndrome, it's very complicated, but they often have trouble relating to other people. They have trouble making friends. They have trouble expressing themselves. Sometimes they're kind of locked in their own little world, and it's hard for even their parents to sort of pull them out and get them to play and talk like normal kids might.
Yeah, it often involves strange obsessions with things. They kind of get really into something. It's a bit of a social disorder in development. Now, we use the phrase disorder there a couple of times in the article as well. A disorder is an illness that disrupts your normal physical or mental functions. So kind of makes something not work properly. For example, Paul has a brain disorder that makes it hard for him to remember things. He just can't quite form memories so easily. And of course, this must affect, his mother's life, his life, and that's what they want to talk about.
That's right. Affect is a verb. It's spelled A-F-F-E-C-T. That's A-F-F-E-C-T. To affect is to have an effect on. Now, we're using affect there as a noun, but basically, to affect is to cause a change. All right? So the weather might affect your mood. Or if you take a certain medicine, it might affect how you feel. You might suddenly feel tired. Now, we're using it as a verb. Effect, E-F-F-E-C-T, that's the noun form.
Yeah.
All right, so the medicine will affect you. What is the effect, E-F-F-E-C-T? Well, you feel sleepy all the time.
Yeah.
Or you feel nervous all the time. That is what happens. That is the noun. That is the thing. The affect, with an A-F-F-E-C-T, that's the change that we're talking about.
Yep, so be careful not to confuse them.
For example, some people's moods are affected by the weather.
Mine included.
What is the effect? Do you feel
effect,
sad?
when it rains, I'm kind of grumpy. Okay, so this is Joshua's mother, tenderly explains to her son how he's made her grow as a person.
She got taller?
And a parent. Now, I think we're talking about emotional growth, how she's kind of changed maybe to become more caring and so on. And she explains this tenderly. This is an adverb. It's spelt T-E-N-D-E-R-L-Y. The L-Y is almost always an adverb. And to do something tenderly means to do it in a loving, tender, gentle way that expresses how much you care about that person. For example, the mother tenderly tucked her young daughter up in bed.
Ah, the opposite would be roughly or
yes.
something like that.
Okay, time for a second example.
All right, in another interview, Maurice Rowland and Miguel Alvarez open up about an event at Valley Springs Manor, a nursing home in California. Very interesting. Well, we're going to find out more about that, but first, I believe we have a shortcut for you, don't we?
Yep, open up is today's shortcut for you. So before we open up and tell you about nursing homes, let's find out what the phrase means.